Hi everybody, I'm Bree the Plant Lady, checking in with a weekly garden tour here from my central North Carolina Zone 7 Foodscape. And the most exciting thing just happened as I walked out the front door. There was a monarch here on these zinnias. So I'm really excited to welcome a monarch to the garden. Finally, I've been waiting forever, it feels like. So let's go ahead and take a stroll and see if we can't chase down that monarch. It's always so exciting to walk out of the house and see a monarch. I've got milkweed in the back, but here, this beauty is getting some nectar from these zinnias, which I will tell you, I contemplated taking these out because you see how ugly the foliage is, but seeing this monarch, 100% I will not be removing these. The flowers are still pretty and I can get over the ugly foliage that's kind of flopping over the sidewalk. I'll basically do anything for monarchs. And on the other side of the walkway, the Colacaja Thailand giant is a continuing beast. It keeps on making more flowers, and I need to go ahead and harvest these. And I've left them here just because I was hoping that some of the goo would come out. They're usually pretty gross. So I'll dry these, and yeah, they're full of seed. These kind of gross brown gooey seeds up in there. So I'll do that later today. I have 3 Zooms today, so trying to manage indoor and outdoor time. This bed, I'm so excited to be having garden tours and for the open garden to be this Saturday, because the bed, I think this bed, which, you know, of course is the first thing you see when you walk in, it's looking awesome. Let me get back far enough so that you can actually see it. I'm not offended by plants that spill into the walkway. I like that kind of softens the concrete. And I think the tropical theme was fully emulated this year, from the castor bean to the colocasias, the banana, I think this is senna. I keep forgetting the name of that popcorn plant. All of the dahlias are finally starting to put on some flowers and look like something. And this enormous patch of peppers are the Tabasco peppers, like from the seed from the Tabasco plant, which I visited in 2019 during an IPPS meeting when we were in Baton Rouge. So I got the seeds legitimately. I didn't steal them. But you see, they have a long way to go before they would be ready to be made into Tabasco sauce. And I worry this is a variety that needs a slightly milder climate, like through the winter season, than here, because we might get frost before these mature. But I don't care. It's still cool. This one's a lot further ahead. I'll still make something with them, whether they turn red or not. God forbid I waste a pepper. You can see the dahlias from Floret Flower are really cool. There's lots of diversity, from, you know, these more double quilled types to really bold singles, which are great for pollinators. I haven't really been cutting any, just because there haven't been very many blooms up until now, and there's still not that many, but I'll probably cut some to make flower arrangements for the open garden on Saturday, 9 October, from noon to 4 p.m. Come and visit the Foodscape. Open to the public, no charge and no registration. Masks are welcome and encouraged. Update on the Cushaw squash wave. They continue to grow. More new little ones are showing up. It's very dry. I need to run the sprinkler out here. You can see there's a good amount of fruit set. It's like every couple of feet, there's more and more fruit. And I am watering this side because it's dry everywhere. It's really dry. We haven't had any substantial rain. So, see some of the shrubs over here, these azaleas look terrible. It's because they're too dry under that live oak. And look, you guys, there's the monarch again. On front yard zinnias. I hope she makes her way to the backyard where there's, you know, more, so that she could lay some eggs. Well, if she finds a mate. Speaking of dry, I have not watered this border. Look at the phlox. It's like totally flagged. It's really dry. The Lespedeza leucobiensis little volcanoes are like really small and stunted this year because it's been so dry and I haven't irrigated this bed. But they're a good manageable size. I mean, I'm glad they're flowering. I was a little worried. They're not as abundant as past years, but it might be that there's just more flowers to open. But this bed is really dry. Like you can see over there that viburnum is all flagged as well. This really shows what plants are drought tolerant and which ones aren't. I love the view of the front garden from under the live oak with the drying hydrangea paniculata sweet summers and this incredible ground cover of the Treasure Island edible ornamental sweet potato. This spot just, it's like way beyond my wildest dreams when I was planting this. I didn't have very high expectations and I just can't believe how the sweet potato performs. I'm 100% addicted to the Treasure Island sweet potatoes. I'm hoping that I can get them and be able to sell plants at my spring open garden, because this is a plant that everybody needs to grow, period. There's like 5 varieties in the series, and I can't remember the cultivar names because they are words that I don't know how to pronounce, therefore I can't remember, like, I just can't remember them. But yeah, this area, this is my master bedroom. Looking out from the house, it's never looked better. And it's all because of the sweet potato. As we come into the backyard, again, there's a lot of signs of drought stress. These lilacs look terrible. One good thing is I'm seeing on branches where they defoliated, there is good live tips. So I guess I shouldn't expect lilacs to look good at this time of year when it's hot and dry, so dry. But you can see like Lantana isn't bothered at all. I have been watering back here to some degree, so you can see the difference. Like this phlox isn't stressed out. It's still blooming and, you know, it looks happy and healthy. Whereas out in that border where it's just really hard to get sprinklers out to it. They just not get the attention they deserve. Everything back here is looking great. I'm losing more branches on these sunshine blue blueberries, which is fine because it's not really my favorite blueberry. So I wouldn't mind just removing those all and putting in a better variety. And there's lots of tomatoes still coming from this wall. Wow, I really have a lot to come out and harvest. I see lots of ripe tomatoes of all different sizes. No question, these little ones are more tedious to harvest, but they are delicious. But I definitely prefer slightly larger tomatoes. Coming through here, the Tithonia is still, I mean, it's really, this is the season for Tithonia. And I really love it with the asparagus backdrop. I think that combination, something I really like. The one thing I would change is just having a taller Tithonia. You see this one just, it's competing with bananas and asparagus. And this variety is just a little bit too short. But sweet potato ground cover in here is doing great. And of course, all that arugula that's self-sowed, I'm gonna come out and harvest from that today. The 100-gallon root pouches are growing really well. This is a mix of cool season. I think that's cauliflower, kale, and a little bit of broccoli planted. This ginger is doing really well. The raspberries, like the old growth looks ugly, but it's fruiting, and you can see they've done extremely well. And parsley and other cool season things. I'd hoped these would be big enough to sell at the open garden, but they're not, so I'll just keep them and grow them here. Less plants for me to have to buy. And over here, everything's doing well. You can really see that the brassicas that were planted about 3 weeks ago are starting to finally get some size. These are all broccoli. And the kohlrabi planted over here, this, I believe this was sown like the middle of July. And so they're really doing well. They're actually already starting to show some stem swell. And yeah, let's see. Oh, doggone it, I didn't write a date. That is so stupid. So key here is BT. Otherwise, the cabbage worms take them out. And the stuff that I planted last weekend already is growing significantly, but look at what's showing up. These are the clumps of, I think I did barley here. I'll have to look at the video. See, a week. Well, just over a week, because I think I did this last Saturday and today's Monday. So, 9 days. And they're gonna look awesome all winter long. And then I'll harvest their seeds probably in early to mid-June when they dry out. Of course, the Salvia Lucantha, if you saw my video from my parents' house, now you understand why I'm so jealous of their salvias, because, I mean, I'm proud of these, but theirs are just so epic. I'm clearly doing something wrong. But maybe in years to come, I'll get these to bulk up. I really wanted this to be just like a solid ring. So, something to work towards. Definitely my favorite salvia of the fall. Of course, what would a garden tour in October be if I didn't obsess over pumpkins? And I'm on the lookout for more fruit. I know it's in here. I haven't done like a really good job, but here's one. See with that cute spotting. Here's a baby one. They're really delicious at this stage. I might treat myself to harvesting that today and eating it, just sauteing it, some garlic and olive oil. And I found a whole bunch more pumpkins on the other side of this property border. So I think in the end we're gonna end up with quite a few. You know, here's another bigger one. I really should be making some like stuffed pumpkin flowers because those are delicious. It's a lot of flowers to play with. You can see they're still actively opening. And so this bed I also planted last week. And again, I know this is wheat. That was definitely barley back there because you see the blades are significantly more narrow on wheat. So exciting to see this germination, and look at all of the buckwheat that is starting to germinate from the buckwheat that I removed. And that's exactly the goal. I just went ground plane coverage, and that happens from, you know, direct seeding, allowing things to reseed themselves, and then in this case planting some heading vegetables to help fill in the gaps as well. And so happy to see these little baby Goldilocks. This is definitely a new favorite squash compared to traditional yellow squash, that it just gets such damage from the squash vine borer. Look at this one. Like, that vine is not impacted at all. And when you harvest them young, they taste the same. Though this can be allowed to mature, and then it's like an acorn squash. And I featured this monster. This is Puerto Rican Evergreen. And I got this from Utopian Seed Project. And there's some discussion about it because Chris Smith, the genius, the okra genius, he's really just a plant genius in general. He says it's not supposed to be ridged, that he's been selecting for smooth fruit. So he was excited about this, and I actually get to save seed for him, which is awesome. I love exchanging seed. Like, it brings me the greatest joy. And you can see this plant is magnificent. You know, I kind of thought it was stupid that it only had one, but considering how big it is, I didn't need to have a whole bunch in here. I mean, this is a substantial plant. Look at the trunk on it. And I had a bunch of questions. This is a type of Kufia, which is traditionally annual, but here, because it's planted adjacent to bottles, you know, the bottles, the air inside of them heats up when the sun shines in them in the winter, and it creates a soil temperature microclimate. So I'm able to grow things as perennial that wouldn't ordinarily be hardy. That's part of the reason why I have so many bottle walls everywhere. But back to my main point, check out this enormous stalk. I mean, it's like a tree. It's honestly, it's like a castor bean. You know, for the fact that it's only been growing, this got planted on July 3rd. And, you know, these were some of the seed that I accidentally missed early on in the season. Look at those. They're incredible. So yeah, now I was really dedicated to eating it. But now I'm like obsessed with making sure I get seed. So I do have a different okra that I want to show you that I am harvesting from. So I did a video like week before last about root knot nematodes, and they really impact okra, tomatoes, peppers, coleus. And in fact, I'm sure that the coleus around the pool, you see how naked they're getting at their legs, that's a sign that they have root knot nematode infestations. As do these okra, on this side at least. And it may be because this is the south side of this bed, and so the soil warms up faster here. I don't know if that's accurate. But, so I do have some fruit that I can harvest, and this is heavy hitter, which was doing great until the nematodes got in. But on the other side of the bed, first of all, you can see a huge difference in the coleus. It's like it's not infected yet, and neither are these okra. And this is the same variety. This is heavy hitter. And I need to come out now and harvest all these pods, and I am for sure gonna eat these for lunch. I love eating okra. It's definitely my favorite vegetable of the summer. So I know I'm long overdue for a rice video. I am going to get it done this week. I did get the tower garden replanted with broccoli and lettuce. And that rice is ready to be harvested for saving to grow. Show you some of the cool pots up here. These native carnivorous pots are awesome. Did these back in like late April. And I just love the juxtaposition of those with like mangaves and then rice. So this rice is actually kind of at the stage for harvesting to eat. And so that's what I'm gonna show you a video of. And you see, these are just two plastic pots from Crescent Gardens that don't have holes in them. They were intended for houseplants, which I'm gonna use them for this winter. But for the summer, they're the perfect vessels to grow rice on my back deck. You might be wondering what that giant grass is. Well, it's papyrus. So actually, I think it's a sedge, not a grass. Sedges have edges. And it's growing out of a pond liner that's just sunken into the ground. And it's been totally hardy now for 6 years. As is the purple snail vine, which you can see is blooming right here. And I just saw this trick on Instagram today that if you squeeze the flower, I don't know how she did it. There we go. You see that? No, it was already sticking out. Huh. I don't know. She made that part actually go in and out of the tube. Well, some magic. But I think it's such a cool flower, and I'm really happy it's hardy. It just kind of scrambles all through here. Of course, this is the south side of the house. Gets full sun in the winter time, and it's definitely my zone 8 border. A lot of plants in here that shouldn't be hardy that are. I don't think any bats are living in the houses yet, but I really like how they look. And more importantly, I am deeply in love with this sweet potato arch. So I will be doing this to every arch next year. It's way more effective than growing tomatoes. The sweet potato it covers it so efficiently. I really like the black-eyed Susan vine that is just self-sown alongside with it. And standing right here, you can get the scent of the ultimate smell of the South in the fall season. And that is Osmanthus. This is Osmanthus Fragrance aurantiacus. When I got home last night, it just was filling the air. It was such a great welcome. The entire city of Aiken, South Carolina, smells like this because there's so many planted. I think we should try to do that here in the Raleigh area. There is just nothing quite like the fragrance of Osmanthus Fragrance. This is the orange flowered variety aurantiacus. And this for me has been the hardiest variety of the non-traditional flower colors. I've grown a number of them. I've had some difficulty in getting them established early on in the garden because we got really cold in the winter, like down to 2 and 4 degrees. But this one's done really well. It's totally doing its job as a property screen. And as soon as I got out of the car, I was hit with this absolutely tantalizing fragrance. It is the best thing ever. It doesn't bloom for long, but wow, when it's in bloom, it is unmistakable. My next job after I finish this video is to water these pots because they start to wilt. It's very hot, it's very dry. Of course, the self-watering live wall is the coolest thing. I just can't say enough about this. Everybody needs to have one of these. It's so cool, and I literally, the only thing I do to it is like plant it. So I am going to plant this with cool season vegetables this year, but I probably won't do that until, I don't know, probably the beginning of November. And that brings me back here to the front porch. Let's just quickly see if we can spot that Monarch again. Of course, the pride of the season really are these gin fizz tomatoes that are still producing tons of fruit. They're so delicious. It's definitely my new favorite slicer. Highly recommend it. You can find seed from parkseed.com. And, well, I don't see the Monarch here, but hopefully, oh, she's out in the wave. She's out in the Cushaw wave. So hopefully she's getting all the nutrients that she needs, whether she lays eggs here or just heads further south down to Mexico. It's just exciting to at least see one because I want to help be a solution for the troubled monarchs, and I like to think that this garden would provide them with a safe haven. Well, I appreciate you all watching, and I hope you have a fantastic week. Take care, everybody.